So the first thing in the ES6 is they introduced us two more ways to create variables. They are let and const, right? So actually, we are no longer using the variable anymore, the var keyword. So instead, we're going to replace that with let and const, right? So you're trying using let to replace the variable that can be changed in the future, and the const for the constant, some values we will never change. It's going to be forced. If you try to change a constant, you're going to get an error. Right, so the examples can be, all right, so if I create a variable with let, so instead of var, I'm going to use let x equal to 1, and you can change x equal to 2, change x equal to like a hello, you can change the value of it to anything. But if you're using const, right, so constant y is equal to 1, and you're not going to allow to change it anymore. So if you say y equals to 2, it's going to give an error. You're trying to assign a value to a constant variable, right? You're not going to allow us to do it. So this can prevent you, your colleagues or you in the future mistakenly change some variables. You never want to change it. Right. So we're going to see examples of that. Right. We're going to try to using the constant. The idea is we're trying to using constant for everywhere, unless you're getting an error. I think like you're trying to change the values of a constant value, then we change it to let. We're trying to avoid the unnecessary changes to variable. Right. So let's go to the quiz 1 here, using let and const to replace the variable. Right. So let me reset this quiz. And inside here, there is a variable character limit, right? And there's a variable posts and the variable I here. 3 variables we need to change. The first one for the character limit, I think that's a limitation to the maximum of characters. And this one, if you're checking out the functions here, we never change the value of this character limit. It's always equal to 255. So we're going to using const for this one, right? And for the posts here, that is array of 3 strings, right? And there is always an array of 3 strings. And here is something you need to be careful. Like even you create a variable, right? With even you create a constant array, array ARR is equal to array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means you cannot change it to something else. You cannot say ARR equal to 5. You cannot change it to a number. It's going to give you an error. But if you remove items inside the array, or any item inside the array, it's still going to work. You can still do that. But you can just directly, you're not allowed to directly change the value of the array, but you can still add in or remove items inside it. For example, if I say ARR the push 6, it won't give me an error. And if I check ARR, it is array with 6 items now. Even that is a constant, I can still add in item or remove item from it, but I cannot directly change the whole value of it. Right, be careful about that. So in this case here, the posts, it is always an array. We may remove items from it, we may add new items inside it, but we never change the value directly. So that can also be a constant. And the third variable is the I here, right? Variable I equals to 0. For this one, if you're using const, you're getting an error because I is a value that changes in the every time we redo the loop, we redo the code inside it, right? So the loop is when loop is running, the first time the I equal to 0, second time I equal to 1, third time I equal to 2, it's increase. So we cannot using constant here. If you try to do that, it's going to give you an error, right? You can just try to test run it. You're actually going to receive some kind of error, right? So this one has to be a let. Right. For the index in the for loop, we'll always have to use a let because it's some value we're going to change it very frequently every time we do the loop. Right. So it's going to give you some kind of output. But the key here is for the things we don't change, we're using constant. For things we will change in the future, we're using let. Alright, so that should be very straightforward. If you are not sure, you just put everything constant, and if there is any error, then you just need to know like where you need to put to be a let. Right, we try to make all things to be constant, but like for some special cases, like the loop, we need it to be the let because we need to change that in the future. Right, that is constant and let. And the next stuff we're going to talk about is backticks. It's also called a template literals, backticks. So it allows you to combine using the variable inside the string, right? So the example they provide here. Right, so if you want to have a message, say student, please see teacher in the teacher room to pick up your report card. So you have to using a lot of plus together to combine, to concatenate those strings together to create this message. This is the traditional way we do it. And with the literal template literals, right, the backticks, we usually just call it backticks, right? So we are allowed to directly put the variables inside the string, right? So with a $sign and the curly braces, right? We know that is a variable, right? So we don't have to use a plus to concatenate strings together, right? So let's say example here is ask you to change greeting to use a template literal. Right, so greetings over here we have hello, my name is plus my name, right? So you can just change that into a backticks and remove the plus sign. I don't need a plus sign. Hello, my name is. My name is a variable, right? So we're going to using a $sign, curly brace, and put the variable name inside here. Right, so you don't need the plus signs for the string with variables. Right, that's also a new options when you create strings. Alright, so let's say next one. I think they're gonna provide another quiz for us. Reset the quiz. Alright, so this one modify this function. Alright, this create animal trading card HTML function to use a template literal for card HTML. Alright, so this one you can see like it's trying to create some kind of HTML code here, but with a lot of plus. And our job is to rewrite it with backticks. It's going to be something annoying. So let's do it. So we're gonna firstly get rid of all the strings and the backtick, the quotes and the plus. Right, getting all the quotes and plus. Not for the class equals to something. Right, just codes for tags. I think we're gonna remove that. Right, it's gonna be a lot, and gonna be very confusing. Hold on. Maybe that's gonna not the best idea. I'm gonna lose something. So just change the first one into backticks, and change the last one into backticks. I have to look at them one by one. So first line here, div class equal to a card. And this quotation mark can be removed, and the plus sign can be removed. And we have h3 class equal to name. Remove the backticks here. And animal.name, that is a variable, so we're going to change that into $, curly brace, Right, remove the actual codes. And this can be removed. Class can be removed. And image. Right, source equal to something here. We're gonna that's this animal the name. That's obviously that is a variable. So we're gonna using a dollar sign with curly brace. Right, remove the plus and the codes. I think we still need the codes here. Right, for the source. Yeah, I think so. We will see. So art is equal to the right. So animal name here is also a variable. Animal.name class picture. Remove the codes and plus sign. That's gonna be annoying. So yeah, usually we don't like rewrite something just when you create new things you do that. So if you already have something, it's gonna be a little bit hard to rewrite it. Right, remove the codes. Animal.fact, that is a variable, so we're gonna remove that, rewrite that into a variable. And the UL here. And AI here. Here is another variable, animal.scientific name. So we're going to rewrite that into variable style. All right. And we get rid of the the codes and plus. You know the idea of here. So just need to be careful that don't make any mistake. All right. Just need to be careful about things we're doing here. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna everything is working perfect, because like it's just if you're just missing one no missing one codes or missing one something, you're gonna give me an error, but we're gonna see it when I test it. So it's just keep going to remove all the things we see wrong and just change it to the new style. So here I have a plus, we're gonna remove that as well. And we have UL here, and the plus here. We don't need any plus here. It's actually more looks like a HTML code right now without those plus. Backticks. Alright, so this is going to be a final version. Let me test it, see if there's any error. It should be fine. Alright, let me submit answer, see if I'm getting it correct here. Alright, that is correct. So yeah, so the main idea is remove all the pluses and the codes, change it to only one whole strings like with a backticks. Right, it's called a template literal. Right, and then we're using instead of using plus variable's name, we're just using the dollar sign with curly braces. I give it some time to try it. Here is the answer. Thank you. It just gives you the whole HTML part with correct names of each thing. All right, so the answer will be provided later. So let's go to the next one. All right, so the next one convenient functions ES6 provided here is called destructuring. Right, destructuring. So it's just used to shorten your code here, right? So examples can be this one here, right? So we have an object, right? It contains it's a called gemstone. It contains a type, a color, and the size of it, right? And here we, if you want a type, you're gonna say constant type equal to gemstone the type, color equal to gemstone and color, and the current is equal to gemstone current, right? So here, it's a traditional way like how we grab each property of this object. Right. So with the destructuring, we actually can make it shorter, make it easier. And it also works for array. Right. So we're gonna mainly use it for the object. Right. So for this gemstone here, a convenient way to write it with destructuring, you can see you can see the constant with a curly brace, all the properties you want, types, color, caret, that it is equals to gemstone. That means after this line, whenever I call type, that means gemstone the type. When I call color, that means gemstone the color. Alright, so let me see if they could provide a chance for us to practice on it. So let's see the next one here. Let me just see the quiz here. Alright, so this one. Alright, so we have a array, and yeah, we just have an array. constant 1 equal to what do we want to do here? Using the array destructuring to pull out the 3 colors from the array and store them into the variable 1, 2, and 3. Right, so what do they want us to do here? Kind of confusing. So we have a variable here. They want us to initialize the variable 1, 2, and 3 with the colors from the things array. Then why do they put it like that? Kind of confused. How did I do it this one before? Let me see it. Yeah, I actually need to, rewrite it, because this is not a destructuring way to do it. So if we constant 1 equal to things, like a zeroth item, the color, and constant 2 equal to things, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is, green is a color, so it's going to be 3. 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be number 7. Right, so it's going to be the things number 7. And if you test once, those things are the 3 colors we have: red, green, and blue. But this is not a destructuring way to do it. So if we try to submit the answer, it's going to give me an error, I think, here. So we're using the array destructuring. Right. So using the destructuring, we can actually shorten the 3 lines into 1. We can see the constant, and with the curly brace. So 1, that is refers to the first item, and basketballs, like just anything that can be X, Y, right? X for basketball, Y for the paper clip, and for the green, we're gonna using 2, right? Something other like A, B, and C. All right, and then we need the number 3 here, and any random digit here, and they are from 6. Right now, if we try it here, I cannot add array, so we're using the square bracket, not the curly brace. Right, so it means those things are all from things array. Right, that's array. We're using the square brackets. And when I call the 1, 2, and 3, notice we are calling things, the 1 from things, the 2 from things, and 3 from things. Alright, so the 1 matches the order, which is red, and the number, the 4th item here is a green, and the 3 is the 8th item there. Right, so this is how it can shorten your code. Like instead of 3 lines, you can just have 1 line. And we're using it more on the object, not on the array. And yeah, let's see if they provide another solution here. I think they only provide 1 here. Alright, so let me give you an example here, like just using the gemstone they have there. So have a constant gemstone. Alright, I'll just give you an example. So type, let me just copy the description they have there. Alright, so the string here, gemstone, just copy that. Let me put it here. Right, so we can have the object gemstone, and if I want to to know the type of it, we usually call it gemstone, the type. Right, it's gonna give me what type of it. So I can just console log it out. You can see console log gemstone type. Right, it's gonna give me the type of it. Right, test run is giving me the type of it. I can also call the gemstone the color. Right, it's gonna give me the color. Alright, so you can see like I'm repeating myself, like type gemstone dot. It's kind of like a waste of time. So the structuring is here to try to solve this problem. So we can see the constant, the type, and the color, all from gemstone, right? And by having that, when I call the console log here, we don't have to see the gemstone type. We can just see the type. It knows that is the type from gemstone, and the color from gemstone. I'm just trying to shorten the code. Right, that's all it does. Right, that's all it does. Just shorten the code a little bit. That's a destructuring arrays. What else we have here? Let's see. Object literal short head. This is just the same thing we just mentioned, using the type color and the color, just example they provide us. Right, so you can see they all from the one structure and to do it. Right. We're just gonna keep going. This is a checkup, iteration. Yeah, so inside here they also introduced us a new loop. It's called the for off loop. Right, for off loop. So for off loop it can be used to handle the arrays. And for example, right, let's have an example here. So if I have an array from 0 to 10, right? So if I have this array, let me just copy that array. Right, I have this array. Just quickly introduce this. It's very convenient. So if I have an array, right, because digits, if I want to loop through it, all you usually do is for, right, let I equal to 0, I smaller than digits, the length, and I plus plus. Right, it's going to go from first one until the last one, until the length. Right, and I can see just console the log, the I. Actually, they're going to be digits i's item. Right, so this is how we usually do the for loop, and it's going to console log out all the numbers inside it one by one. Digits I, these 0, these 1, these 2, these 3. Right, so that's a for off loop. Sorry, that's a for loop. And another way to do it, instead of saying like tell it where to start and where to end, we can also do a for in loop. Right, so let's talk about first. Let's talk about for in loop. For all the digits inside the digits array, I want to cancel the log. The digit, actually, it's gonna be not gonna be digits. Sorry, it's actually going to be for I inside digits. Right. And we're gonna have a digits cancel log. The log digits i's item. Right, it's going to also work. So it's much shorter than just say the for loop. It's going to using the that means for every index inside the digits array. The I going to be directly assigned from the first one until the last one. It's called the for in loop, just make the code shorter. And we have the for off loop. It's very similar to this one. Let me just copy that. So instead of in, we have off here. And for the off here, we're not going to choose using I here. It's not going to be giving us the index of it. I'm going to just call it digit. It's going to be each item inside the array. just going to directly give us the item. We don't even need to see the code index. This is used for when you don't need the index of item. You just want to grab the item inside this array one by one. You can just say for the element of the array, and this element, this digit element, is going to represent each element inside the array one by one. Alright, just a shorter way for the for loop. We will see the examples more about it. Just a shorter way for the for loop when you deal with arrays. Do they provide exercise here so we can try it out? Let me see. They also have a video to explain it. You can take a look on that. Yeah, let me see if they provide here. Yeah, right for off loop here. Let's see the examples they provide here. Let me just reset the quiz. Right. So for this one, it asks us to write a for off loop that loops through each day in the days array, capitalizes the first letter of the day, and prints the day out of the console. Right. So we're trying to loop through this array of days, right, Sunday until Saturday, and we're trying to capitalize the first character. Right. We did it like in the assignment. Right. We're trying to capitalize some characters here, some strings here, right? And now we're trying to do it with a for off loop. Right, very similar, but not for loop anymore. It's going to be for off loop. Capitalize the first character. So, right, let's say for off loop, right? So for every day of the days array, right, now the day represents each item here, and for each day inside it, we want to update the day is equals to the old day, the first character, to uppercase, right, plus the data slice from the first item. I think that's it, and then we console the log the days. We know what we have inside it. We need to let here, I think, let day of days. Yeah. Let me try it out, test run it, and it's just not working. What?
Shouldn't it be a variable?
Actually, they don't ask me to update it. We can just console log it out. Right, console the log the day 0 to uppercase and plus the day dot slice 1. I think that's just going to be console log them out one by one. Yep. So Sunday to Saturday. Console log out each day with capitalized first character and plus the slice without the rest of the part of the string. And if you like, you can also change this one into the literal template literal, right, with backticks. So you can do it like a. I don't think that's going to be easier, but that's also an option. So you can with the backticks here, right? So the first one is a variable, so it can be $, curly brace. And the second one, let's remove the plus sign. It's also a variable. I can do that as well, but kind of like become more confusing. Right, so just in this case, we just suggest you to using the plus here. You can also using the second version. It's the same thing.
What's the difference between slice and substring?
Actually, there's no difference. it means actually there actually maybe is slice. So JavaScript slice and substring. Difference between slice and substring. Slice, this method selects the part of the string and returns the selected part as a new string. Start and the end parameter are used to specify the extracted part. This function has the same syntax as slice. I don't see any difference. Let me just open it. Okay, there's some difference here. When you're using a substring, if the start bigger than stop, they have something sure in common, but they have some difference here. Actually, yeah. If the start's bigger than stop, the function gonna swap the both arguments. If the argument is negative or it's not, it is treated as 0. Okay. When you use a slice, if the start is bigger than stop, the function will return the empty string. Let's try it out. So if I have a string variable, my str is equal to hello, right? So let's say str dot substring 0 and 1 and 0. What? Start and stop, right? Actually, it's just 1 and it's a 2 and 0. It's just a reverse. Actually, it doesn't reverse anything. It's just HE. What? 2 0 and 0 2. Why is they the same? And if I'm using slice, if I give a 2 0, it's giving me an empty. Okay. Yeah, but I don't see any cases why we put the start bigger than stop, but maybe some cases will do. Okay, so that means, yeah, that makes sense. So the function swaps both arguments. So that means if the first one is bigger than the second one, it's just gonna be the function just gonna reverse its two parameters for you. So that means the 2 0 and 0 2 are the same. And if you're using slice, if the start point is bigger than the stop point, it's just gonna give you an empty string. I think that's one biggest difference here. And the other place is so if the argument is negative, it's going to change it to 0. So if we do a substring with a negative 10, it's just going to change it to 0. The negative 2 and 0 2 is the same. And here, when you use slice, if the start is negative, it's going to just set character from the end of string. It's going to go reversely. If stop is negative, it sets some kind of like a way to do it. And no much difference. I think in the common cases, you can just using both substring or slice. But then maybe there are some special cases you want it to happen like that. And some special cases you want it to happen like this. So using them differently. But most cases you can just they share the similar functions. Alright, in the most common cases, they share the same functions. Alright. So this is the answer for this one. And let's see what else they talked about here. Alright, spirit operator. Alright, this is also something we did in the assignment. Alright, so like if I have an array of 4 items, and I want to catalog them one by one, you just say catalog books. It's just going to catalog them one by one. Right? It's just books means like each item inside it. Books means array, and if I add a straight dot, like it's called spirit operator, in front of it, it's just going to grab each item from it. Right? So this is what is printed out. Same thing here, right? If I have array, and I have in front of the array, it's going to print everything out. Yeah, it's a more use of it. We're going to use that a lot. Let's say this one here. Use the spirit operator to combine the fruits and the vegetable array. Right, so we have 2 arrays. If we're not using the spirit operator, how do we combine them? So we can, if you just say like a fruits plus vegetable, that's not going to work. If you try that, it's just going to give you some errors. You cannot concatenate 2 arrays with plus. Okay? The plus only works for the string and the numbers. Right. So the only possible way to do it without using the spirit operator is we're gonna do a for loop for each like a vegetable of the vegetables array. And we do the first we're going to see the produce array is equal to the fruits array. Right? And then we see the for each vegetable, we want to push that into the produce array. Produce the push a vegetable. We're going to push the vegetable one by one into the produce array and to create that. It's going to be a let here. Alright, so that works. That works. Yeah, that works. But you need to do a loop to do it. Kind of like a too much. Right, this is the original way we do it. And with the spread operator, we can just say the constant produce and equal to array with fruits with odd item in the fruits and odd item in the vegetables. You can do that. Right, that's a much shorter way with spread operators. The just means inside items, right? Items inside it. It's actually simplified the works a lot of works. Like when we're trying to grab the items from the array or grab item from the object, we can always using the dot. We use this one when we're trying to call the maximum and minimum in the assignment. Right, so yep, it's very convenient, and the dot can be also used to grab the rest of the parameters here. Yeah, this is a good example. We have a constant order that has like 3 numbers here and a lot of like strings here. And if you want to do a destructuring here, you're gonna say constant total subject text, give some names. And for the all other items here, you can just cut the dot items. That means like all the rest of items inside it. Right. Another example can be the one we just did about the destructuring here. Right. This array here. We did about. Let me just reset this quiz. About the colors. Right. We used to have a constant array like a 1, a x, a y, and 2, blah blah blah, right? And a, b, c. It's kind of like annoying. Like I'm never using this like x, y, a, b, something like that. I don't need them. So you can do like if you just only need 1, you can just do x 1 and the rest of everything, rest of things. Right. So now the 1 works, and others can things just refers to all of them. But they don't have name. You're not gonna be able to grab it from the array. But just you can shorten the code if you just only need the first one or the first 2, right? 1x and the things means the rest of items. Okay. So if you are not care, if you don't care about like what they are, just need to have them. You just say those things equal to the items from things, or you just call it like any names. You can just call the rest, put any names with the dot with anything. This thing just means the rest of the items inside the array. Or rest item inside the object also works. Now we're gonna see how we use that in a real application. And here is another quiz for it. What is that? Use a rest operator to create an average function. Calculate an average of an unlimited amount of numbers. So this function, it's pretty straightforward. So it's asking you to create a function average, but like it allows you to do an average for unlimited numbers. You can do average to 6, or average with 2 parameters, or average with 6 parameters, like or even more, as many as you want. Right? So in this case, we cannot just say num1, num2, or num3. We cannot just. If you want, you can write until like num1000, num10,000, but then they're gonna be infinite. So make it shorter to simplify it. We can say all the nums, no matter how many you give us, just treat them all as nums. right? And to getting the average of it, we can just using the sum of odd nums and divide by the number of numbers we have there, right? So we can do a for loop, or we can just using the master sum for all the nums. It's going to give you all the nums, and the sum of all the nums. And how do I give how many items we have inside this here? Let me see. I don't think I can. I'm just gonna using a for loop this case. Yeah, so we just have a constant. Have a let the counter equal to 0. Right, it's gonna be very traditional way. We have a kind of have 0 item inside it. Just count how many items we have it. For I can use a for off loop for all each num. Let num all of the nums. Actually, I cannot, because that's not an array. That's just a that's just an object. How did I do it before? I just want to make sure what is the easiest way I did it. Oh, actually, I can grab the length of it. Okay, I actually didn't know that. Maybe I know it, but I just forgot it. So, okay, so I can grab the length of it. So that makes things easier. Right, I can grab the length of it. So then I can just do the mass. I will have mass max, mass min. I will also have the mass the sum of all the nums divided by the nums the length. Right, if I can grab a length, and just return it. Let me just try it out. Test right. And not working. Master sum is not working. Maybe it has to be capital S. No. Let me Google it. So JavaScript mass sum. No, not this one. I just want looking for the here. JavaScript MDN. Looking for the sum. Do we have the sum here? I think we do. Maybe not. We don't have sum inside the JavaScript. Maybe another programming language. Let's see. Master sum. I thought we had it. Oh, that's another one. Okay. Yeah, it's called the it's called reduce. It didn't introduce this one here. Yeah, if you want the sum, you're gonna have to using the reduce. Yeah, we don't want to confuse it. It's just using the for loop. Maybe it's more straightforward. Okay. Talk about both. All right. So with the for off loop, we can get in the sum of it. So for, let's just have a constant sum. Not constant let, because we change it. Let sum equal to 0. And for h num of the nums. And we can do sum plus equals to num, right? Adding the num to the sum, and then we just return the sum divided by the nums length. All right, that's gonna work. Let me try it. That's right. Right, so it works. And but the last one here is giving me a none here. That means we have some errors. We're gonna need to handle about when there is no numbers inside there. So we're gonna have if cases. So if nums the length equal to 0, we just return the 0. Right? Else we just do the rest part of it. But you don't have to say else because return gonna stop the function. So this can be simplified. Just say if num length is 0, we just give it 0. Otherwise, we do a for off loop. Right. So we're gonna calculate the sum and divide it by the num's length. And another way to using the reduce function. Right. Reduce is something similar to the for each. So we can see the sum, constant sum. Right, let me just calculate this out. Right, we can just say the constant sum is equal to the nums array dot reduce. Right, reduce takes a function. Right, takes a function. Right, so reduce takes a function that takes like maybe a and b. And what it does is you can just say a plus b. I think just return a plus b. I think that we need a return here. And now just do the same thing, right? Return sum divided by length. I think it'll work. Let's try it out. Yeah, it also works. So the way the reduce works is like it is gonna using the function you provided to combine items inside array into one. Kind of like confusing here. So what it does is just gonna, so we provide a function here. It says a plus b. So it's gonna, what it does is just going to, to go through the whole array of numbers, ending and using a plus here to ending everything as of it one by one together to become one item. We just plus them together, all together. That means. A little bit confusing here. So I'm not using the reduce a lot, but the reduce this is how reduce works. It's not using the function you provide to it to kind of like to combine into all the items you have inside the array. If we say the a plus b here, it's going to plus them all together. A function a, b, two items, and it actually means like ab just means like how do we want to handle the items? And we want to use plus to handle them together, and it will do it. It will do it. Right, so if you're not familiar with reduce, you can still using the for loop. Right, it's easier to understand. But if you want the code to be shorter, the reduce is here for you. Right, reduce is here for you. Okay. Alright, so I think that's it for this lesson 1 here. Introduce a lot of like extra ways you can handling your code, right? So to summarize it, we talked about let const, right? We talked about backticks, the literal template literal, right? And we talked about the destructuring. I cannot type it, just destructuring, you know it. Structure. Alright, something like that, destructuring. And we have a, let me see what else. Destructuring, we have the for off loop, right? For off loop. And we have the split operator, right? We have the dot 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 split operator, and that's it. Right, that's all new things we introduced here. Let and const, template literal, destructuring, for off loop, and the split operator. Right. So remember those things, right? Those things are going to be very useful in the future, like to simplify your code, right? Simplify the code, especially the spread operator and the template error and destructuring. That's where we use them a lot. Let and constant. It is also we use it every day, and that's very simple. So you don't have to focus on that so much. Just instead of using for, we're using let and const. We're no longer using var. There's no any case you need to using variable var here, right? We'll never use it in the future. Just using let and const. That's completely rewritten, right? So we're doing using variable. Let's take a look of lesson 2 here. It should be a very shorter one to only talk about functions. A much shorter one. Let's just open it. Yeah, I have a lot of lessons, but just mainly talk about arrow functions. Right, another way to describe to write functions. Another way to write functions. Right, so it's actually very easy to understand. So for example, right, if for example here it's just using the function we created in the lesson 1 here, right? In lesson 1 here, the last question here, we created an average function, right? So we can rewrite this one with the the arrow function, right? So let's do it. So instead of saying function average, we're gonna say the constant average is equal to a function, right? Usually we just do a function. If you remember function declaration, what we do here is we say the constant average is equals to a function that does this. This is a declaration, function declaration, the way we create a function, right? Second way we create a function. Now we introduce a third way. It's called this is let me just add a comment. This is a function declaration. Right. This is called arrow function. Right. Even shorter way. So we can say function constant average is equal to function takes nums and do something. Just do this part of things here. Right, so we'll just get rid of the function word here, change that to arrow key. And it can be even shorter. See here, we also have a function, right, inside here, reduce. We just rewrite this one. Also, get rid of the function keyword. Just put the arrow key here. Right, and if there is only a return inside it, we can also get rid of the return and change the curly brace into parentheses. That also work. And you can see how much shorter it is. Right, so get rid of the function keywords, change it to arrow key. Get rid of the function word, change it to the arrow key. And get rid of the curly brace return, just change it to parentheses. If there's only a return inside it. Right, nothing very complicated, just another way you can write the function. Right, so you can see a lot of people using this way because they just developers are lazy. We prefer to type 2 things instead of like 7 characters, or actually 8 characters here. Like 2 instead of 8. That's the only reason they're using the arrow function, and it also make the code a little bit cleaner. So it's shorter, right? This one, and becomes this one much easier to understand. I mean, easier to read. Just make it shorter. Right? You can still using the traditional ways. It's nothing wrong with it. And when you see someone write it like that, you need to be able to understand it. Right? You need to be able to understand it. This is called arrow function. Let's see what else they mentioned inside lesson 2. Let's just go them one by one to check in the quiz. So arrow function, let's see the quiz. Convert function into arrow function, right? This is what we expect. Let's see the quiz. So we have a map here, right? The map is just map through each item inside the array to do something, right? This one, in this case, we're trying to calculate the square of it, right? So it's just context one. It's going to give us an array of their squared value, right? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Let's get square value of everything. That's how map function works. Right, just gonna apply this function you give it to each item you have inside the array, and it returns the array to you. And to rewrite this one with arrow function, it's very straightforward. So again, we can get rid of the function keyword, right? Get rid of the function keyword, and adding an arrow key here, and that works. That's it. That is the arrow function. And to make it even shorter, again, see there's only a return inside it, so we can get rid of the return and get rid of the curly brace, change that into a parenthesis from here to here, and also get rid of the semicolon here. And then we can even put that in just in one line if you want, because it's very short, right? You also put them in one line if you like. And moreover, if this map only have one input, right? Only have one parameter, you can even get rid of the parenthesis here. Just say square. You can do that as well. Just make it shorter. Again, this is all optional, but if you just make it as short as you want, and this is, here we go. This is shortest version. Right, test run it should give you the exactly same result. Alright, so arrow function, just instead of using the function key, using the arrow key. And there's some other options for you. You can just get rid of the curly brace, get rid of the parentheses. Right. So that's it. Let's go to the next one. Right. So for the arrow for the functions, we also have something with this keyword. We're not gonna using that a lot. We're not gonna using that. Yeah, well, this kind of a little bit confusing, so we are not using that anymore. I don't use that anymore. Yeah, you can just take a look on that, just for your reference. Later, when we use it, we're going to introduce it more, but I don't think we're going to use it. Yeah, maybe in some cases, we're still using that. So let me give you an example of this. I think it just works in this way. So if I have a object, actually, we're gonna go back to this one because a few minutes. Let me just finish this lecture first. Finish this lesson first. This is what else they have here. A quiz here about the parameters. Oh, this one. All right. So this one, using the default function parameters. So you are allowed to create a function, right? So let's say create a function parameters. We're just gonna go create a function with arrow function. So you can use a regular function, it's the same thing. Constant build house is equal to a function. It takes 3 items. It takes floors. And takes a color. Actually, two items thing, just floors and the color, and the walls, right? And the walls, and the walls. And it does something. It returns. We're just using a parenthesis here instead of saying. We can just put a parenthesis here. It returns a string, right? So backticks a string. Your house, just put that in another line. Your house has like 1 floors. It's gonna be $, floors. And with a red brick, red is a color, so it's gonna be a color bricks. And was is here. It's brick. That is type of words, so it's gonna be was. Yeah. So this is what the function is supposed to do. Alright, so to gives you the items you want. So they just console log here. They provide some test cases for us. We just use that to test it. So console log it. It's gonna grab the object floors. No. Yeah, this one not gonna work if you do that like this. And just write my own console log functions. So if you can have your own console log. Actually, I don't think they mean that, but we can do that. Console the log build a house, right, with 3 floors, red brick, right? So it's gonna just test right. It's gonna tell you the answer for the question. Oops, red is not defined. Oh, it's a string. Sorry, it's a string. It's gonna give you the string here. And so this is not the main idea for this function. Inside here, they want us to give some some default value for this function. So if we didn't provide floors, like for example, I can say I can give some default values. If I just give some empty here, I want the default value. If I just test run, it's gonna give me empty. It's gonna be your house has undefined floors with undefined walls. I don't want it to be used undefined to be default value. I can see the floors here equals to 1, color equals to red, and the walls equals to the brick. Right, so these are some default value. If I do not, when I call the function, I didn't provide the value for this variable. This values here are going to be used as default values. Right, so if we try it right now, instead of giving me undefined, it's going to go using the default value I have there. But I can still using the any value I like. Like I can still using 3 blue, right, and something else like I don't know, sand. Or like a paper, right? So then you can still change that. But if you do not provide maybe for the sand here, just 3 and blue, and the wall is not going to be undefined. It's going to be using brick to be there, right? So have some default values you can use. This is the main idea of this quiz here. Right, so now if you say console.log build house, right, the first example they provide here, it's gonna work because we have some default values here. It's gonna provide you the value, right? It works, right? And for the second one to work, they actually pass in an empty object here. They want this one to work. I think we just need to put this whole thing inside a object to make it work. Let me try it out. Sure. Actually not. Maybe with the cos, make it as object. Is that what I mean? Oh no. I think I remember it. It's supposed to be a kind of like destructuring. So it's gonna be floors, colors, and walls. They equals to I think it's gonna be 1 red and bright. That's how we do it. I actually forgot it. No, it's not. I'm just checking the examples they provide here. Destructuring and that was correct. Just using this. Oh, with array. Okay. But this is object. Yeah, it should work. Let me try it again. So here's a quiz, and this is supposed to be the right answer. Why it don't give me the right answer? Give me an error. Let me see. Was equal to break. Oh, it. That's because I need to call it like that. Oh, that makes sense. Let me double check about it. Alright, so they provide examples here. We basically just need to copy it, but just totally forgot how it did it. How I should to do it. Here. Oh, I need to say they are equals to an empty object. Okay, that's tricky. Yeah, I usually don't do that. I don't see anyone use this way. But if you want your function to be works for both these two cases, you do it like that. Right. So it should work right now. Right. It also works for the cases when you provide the values. It also works. Alright, so this is the final answer. Like the main idea is like you can assign some default values for the variables, and if you want to also cover the cases they may enter an empty object, and you can just put them inside the object equals to empty object. Right? If that means like if they provide empty object, we're gonna using this object to replace it. So it's where it works for all the cases. It's like a combination of the destructuring and the default parameter. Right. A combination of both of them. Right. This one is destructuring, and this one here is each of that is a default parameter. All right. So let's see what next we have. JavaScript class. we're gonna actually. Yeah, so it's just another way to write functions, right? So the example they provide here is actually very good. So we have a plan function, right? So it has like two properties and a function inside it, right? So yeah, a class is another way to write it, and you can put the properties inside the constructor, and the functions by its own. So this now the here from line 1 to 9 is equal to here from 1 to 11, 1 to 9 basically. It's a similarance, and just another way to represent it. It's some new content they make it here. So the reason they make the class keyword is trying to match up other programming languages, right? In other programming languages like Java, Python, if you heard of any of them, they all using classes. And JavaScript, they're just trying to so for the developers who prefer using class, now you can use it. But actually you don't have to, right? You don't have using class. Function, even you write class, like when the browser runs it, it's just gonna rewrite it into the function version. Like if you write that, the JavaScript will help you to rewrite it like in this way. Okay, so it doesn't make any functional difference. Just again another way to represent it. Another way to represent it. Right, this is basically the same. From 1 to 9, from 1 to 9. The length is also very similar, but this one looks a little bit more cleaner. Right, so we can know like these two are the parameters. This one, the functions are inside here instead of having like everything stay together there. All right. Yeah, we're not gonna use in the class. Well, we used to have like when we used to have using class for something, but right now like they realize like class is kind of confusing people, so we actually a little bit stop using it anymore. Yeah, working with JavaScript classes. There's any quiz here? Which one of the following are true? We have class animal, have a constructor here. We have animal.name and animal.image. Right, so this is just using the way they use this. This basically just means animal. And animal.name equals to the name we provide here. Animal.image is equal to the image we provide here. This is they're trying to copy the way they we actually create this. This is the Java syntax. Right? It's very similar to JavaScript, but just they're trying to learn it from it. And then we have a function eat food, and it's going to say this the animal image plus the food divided by 3. Right, so which of the following are true? Actually, the answer is here. You see, so is method ends up on animal prototype. Prototype I haven't talked about it. It's just basically some default functions were created inside JavaScript. You can using a prototype to any more default functions. And type of animal equal to a function. Yeah. So the reason the third one is correct here is because JavaScript doesn't actually have a class. Even you write class, you're checking the type of it. It's still a function. Class is just gonna be recompiled into a function. Right? You don't have to worry about this too much. We're not going to go into that deep. Here is basically trying to more introducing the concept behind the screen, like how the actually JavaScript works. We're not going to go into that deep yet. We're still on the stage working on the those terms. Right. Actually, you can just ignore the rest of the section here. Some of here are too much for us for now. Yeah, we're just gonna skip this ones for now. Right. So once we're starting using them, we're gonna introduce them one by one. But now we're not gonna using them for the next like a few months. So you can just skip them for now. So yeah, so the most important thing here inside this lesson is just the arrow function. We're gonna use that every day. Right, and the default value, yes, you can also take a look at that. We're also sometimes going to use the default value for the function. Like if there's no default value, we don't want to use it undefined. We just want to provide some default values for your function, default parameters for your function. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna stop it here. So the main things we're gonna focus about is arrow function. Right, the arrow function. Let me just write it on the board here so you know like what we covered and what you need to remember after this ES6. Right. But ES6 is the JavaScript version coming from coming in at 2015. So there's something inside here are not very useful anymore, but there's something we're just still using them every day. So one is let and const. Right? We completely get rid of the variable. No one is using it anymore. Right? We're not using this to replace the variable. Right? Variable is no longer used. And we have the what is next after this one? Destructuring. Maybe destructuring. Right? Structure. So, when you create an object structure, create an array structure, you can use the destructuring to grab things from it, to simplify the code. Right? So also very useful. nothing like complicated here. Just trying to shorten the code, shorten the code. And we have let me see what comes to my mind. I have a split operator. I have split operator. So dot 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 gets the items. That get all the items inside the array, or get all the items from the object. Right, we're gonna see how this works in the future a lot. Right, so when we start to create applications, we're gonna use that a lot. What else? Right, of course, the arrow function. Right, so it's just another way to create a function to again shorter the most of the things here is just shorter your code. Right, instead of using function keyword, we can use the arrow key, right? But people are still using function. This is not abandoned, but not like word. Word is totally abandoned. No one is using that. Sometimes it's causing the issues. So you know that. And we're still using functions. Some people still prefer using function. And what else? I just totally forgot. Oh, of course we have the default. I have default parameters. Right, you can give some default values for parameters. Right, sometimes it's useful. Right, before the 2015, we are not allowed using those things. Well, when I started learning coding, actually, it already passed the 2015. So let me see. Template 0, right? So the backticks, template late 0. So backticks. That is very useful. So you can use variables inside string. So you don't have to see like a string plus a string plus a variable. It's kind of like annoying. Right? So using backticks is much easier to read and much easier to debug if you have any error inside it. And the last thing is for off loop. Right? Again, it's shorter your work, making things easier. So you don't have to tail the for loop, like start from the first one until the last one. You're just using for off loop or for in loop. When you need the index, you're using for in loop. When you don't need the index, you need the items, you're using for off loop. Right? So what we're gonna do rest of the day, what we're gonna do is we want to using these things to rewrite our three applications: the unit converter, the bookmarker, and the filterable contact list. Right? So rest of the day, please try to use these things to rewrite our functions, change all the functions with arrow function, and change all the variables to that and const. And for other things, just see if where you can using like a backticks, where you can using the for off loop instead of like using for loop. Try to using this way to simplify your code, right? And I'm gonna give you the answer tomorrow morning to see how we actually did it. All right. So let's have a 10-minute break. I think it's 10:30, and after you come back, you can start doing that. Try to using the things to simplify the application we did.
Promises are an incredibly powerful addition to the language, and a ton of both existing and future changes make use of them. So being able to work with and write JavaScript promises is vital.
They're so important, we've actually created a standalone course dedicated to just JavaScript promises.
Hang on a second. Hey, Cameron.
Hey, Richard. It's good to see you.
We were talking about JavaScript promises, and we told them about our dedicated course on JavaScript promises, and we thought, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I made a course on promises. They're awesome, and you should go take it. And the reason is that promises make it so much easier to do asynchronous code. With promises, your code's going to be easier to read, easier to write, and most importantly, as you all know, it's going to be a lot easier to debug. And while you're working on this class, you'll be also building an app called the Exoplanet Explorer. This is a really cool app because it helps people learn about planets around other stars in our galaxy, real planets. So that's really amazing, and it's really fun, and you should definitely check out the course if you want to master promises.
You'll find a link to the course below. Let's switch gears for a moment.